The strange visitor, an alien woman, showed her child my picture. "He's the one," she said. "He's your real father." John Miller was an ordinary man with an ordinary life. Every day, he walked home from his office, carrying the same old black bag, listening to the same music on his phone. It was just another evening. The sky was a little darker than usual, and the streetlights had just turned on. As John walked past the quiet park near his apartment, he noticed something strange. The air felt colder. The wind had stopped. Everything around him became too quiet, like the world had paused. Then, a soft buzzing sound filled the air. John looked up. A bright silver light appeared in the sky. It wasn't like a plane or a drone. It was completely silent now, hanging in the sky without moving. Then, slowly, it came down. John stepped back, eyes wide. A circle of light opened on the ground. From it, two figures stepped out. One was a tall woman, taller than any woman John had ever seen. Her skin was smooth and silver blue. Her eyes were glowing faintly, and her hair flowed like liquid metal. She held the hand of a small boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old. The boy looked normal, human, but his eyes had the same soft glow. John couldn't move. The woman walked up to him slowly. She stopped just 3 feet away. Her face was calm, but her voice carried power. "You are John Miller," she said. John tried to speak, but only nodded. She turned to the boy and said softly, "This is him. He is the one. He's your real father." The boy looked up at John with wide eyes. He held something in his small hands, a photo. He gave it to John. John looked at the picture. It was him, no doubt. He was sitting on a bench, laughing, sunlight on his face. But he didn't remember this picture. He didn't remember that day. He never took that photo. "What is this? Who are you?" he asked, voice shaking. "My name is Zyra," the woman said. "I am not from your world. But years ago, I visited. You don't remember, because your mind was blocked. For your safety, and mine." John stepped back. His heart was racing. "This can't be real. Is this a joke? Is this some sci-fi movie setup?" he asked. Zyra shook her head. "This boy," she said, placing her hand on the child's shoulder, "was created using part of my DNA, and part of yours. He is our son." John couldn't breathe for a moment. The air felt heavy. I don't understand," he whispered. "How is that even possible?" Zyra knelt down and looked the child in the eyes. "He needs you now. Others will come for him. He has abilities. Powers that are growing fast. He will not survive alone." John looked at the boy. The child's face was calm, but his eyes, those glowing eyes, were full of something deep. Wisdom, fear, hope. "Why me?" John asked. "Why now?" "Because the people who want him," Zyra said, standing up again, "have found us. They are watching Earth, and you're the only one who can keep him hidden." Just then, the boy raised his hand toward a tree. John watched in disbelief as a small glowing orb floated out of the tree's bark and into the boy's hand. It vanished like light into his skin. "What was that?" John gasped. "Zyra replied quietly, "A signal. They know we're here." John looked around. The park was still empty. The air was still too quiet. "Come with us," Zyra said. "You must protect him. You are more important than you think." "I'm not ready for this," John said. "I don't know anything about aliens, or powers, or space." The boy took John's hand. John looked down into those glowing eyes. A strange warmth filled his chest. A strange feeling, like a memory from a dream he never had. Maybe he did know this child. Zyra took a small device from her belt. With a soft hum, a silver bubble surrounded them. She looked at John one last time. "This is the beginning," she said. "Your world is about to change." And then, in a flash of silver light, they disappeared. Only the photo remained on the ground, gently moving in the wind. The hidden past sometimes. The truth hides inside dreams you forget. John woke up gasping for air. He was no longer outside, he was in his bedroom. Alone, the photo was still in his hand, slightly crumpled. His heart was beating too fast. His shirt was damp with sweat. Had it all been a dream? The silver woman. The glowing child. The words, "He's your real father." They still echoed in his ears. But then, he noticed something. His door was open. He always closed it before sleeping. The curtains were drawn back, but he never touched them. On his desk, his old coffee mug had been moved, and there was a small handprint on the glass. Too small to be his. John stood up slowly and walked to the window. The street below looked normal. No spaceships, no silver lights. Just life continuing, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. He walked to the mirror and stared at himself. Same tired face. Same messy hair. But his eyes. There was something different. A spark. A feeling. Like something hidden deep inside was waking up. Suddenly, a sharp image flashed through his mind. A white room. A tall silver figure, leaning over him. A cold table. A warm voice whispering, "You will not remember. For now." John stumbled back. The memory faded just as fast as it came. He held his head. What was happening to him then? A voice. "Don't be afraid." John turned around sharply. The boy was standing there inside the room, glowing softly in the dark. No sound. Door opening. He was just there, like a ghost made of light. "I locked the door," John said, panicking. "I came through the dream," the boy said calmly. "You left a piece of yourself behind. When they took it." John stared at him. "What are you talking about? What did they take?" The boy walked over to the window and looked at the stars. "Your memory. Your spark. The part of you that could change everything." John sat on the edge of the bed, confused. None of this makes sense. "Who are you, really?" The boy looked at him, almost sadly. "I am what they made from both of you. I have her gifts. And your strength. But I'm not finished yet. I need you." John felt a strange pull in his chest, like his body was trying to remember something his mind couldn't. The boy reached into his pocket and pulled out a strange device. It looked like a crystal, glowing with soft blue light. He handed it to John. "Touch this," he said. John hesitated, then placed his fingers on it. Suddenly, the world around him disappeared. Flashback. Sick John was no longer in his bedroom. He was in a different place, floating in space. Stars moved slowly around him. Below, a huge silver ship hovered above Earth, silent and hidden in clouds. He saw himself younger, asleep inside a glowing pod. Zyra stood next to him, placing a device near his head. "This one, he's different," she whispered to another. "Alien. His DNA sings. He doesn't know it, but he's special. He won't remember this," the other one said. "He must not. Not yet." Zyra placed her hand on the pod. A tear ran down her cheek. "Someday, he will understand." The memory ended. The light faded. John dropped the crystal. He was back in his room, sweating, shaking, breathing fast. What was that?" he asked. "The truth," the boy replied. "She saved you, even when she wasn't allowed. She gave you part of her world." John stood up. "That ship, that memory, it was real." The boy nodded. "Yes, and now others want what's inside you. Because you and we are not normal anymore." Outside, thunder rumbled even though the sky had been clear. The lights in the room flickered. "Something's coming," the boy said. "They've started looking for us. We don't have much time." John looked down at his hands. He could feel it now, energy, warmth, like a sleeping part of him was slowly waking up. "But why me?" he asked again. "Why did she choose me?" The boy walked to the door. "Because only someone who still has a heart can protect one like mine." He opened the door, and behind it was Zyra, barely standing, her suit damaged, her face bruised. "They've found us," she whispered, then collapsed. John ran forward to catch her. Outside, in the distance, the sky was no longer empty. Something dark was coming. Hunted monsters don't always roar. Sometimes they come silent and invisible. The city still slept. The sky above was calm. No thunder, no storm. But John knew something was wrong. He stood over Zyra, who lay unconscious on the floor. Her skin, once glowing silver, was now pale and dim. Sparks flickered from the small device on her arm. The child kneeled beside her, hands trembling. "She used her energy to find us," the boy whispered. "She's weak now, but she'll heal if we run." John looked out the window. The street below was empty, but not silent. The lights were flickering. The traffic lights were frozen on red. A dog barked once, then suddenly went quiet. A strange hum, low and deep, vibrated through the building walls. A sound you could feel in your bones, not hear with your ears. "What's happening?" John asked. "They're here," the boy said. "They don't look like us, but they used to." John didn't wait. He picked up Zyra carefully, her body lighter than expected. He grabbed the boy's hand with the other. They ran down the stairs. Out into the night, no one saw them. The whole block looked like time had paused, but as they turned a corner, John saw it. Something shimmered in the air above. The rooftops. It wasn't a ship. It was alive. A massive, invisible creature, its shape only revealed by the raindrops that now began to fall. As the rain hit its body, the outline appeared. Long limbs, razor arms, and eyes that glowed red through the mist. It had no wings, yet floated like smoke. It was hunting them. The boy looked up. His eyes turned brighter. "Don't let it see your fear," he said softly. John pulled them into an alley. His heart beat loud. Too loud. The creature stopped above. It sniffed the air, without a nose. Its long head turned slowly toward the alley. Then, it dropped. Crash. The walls shook. John ran. They ducked into an underground parking garage. The lights flickered as they moved between cars, trying to stay quiet. Zyra groaned in John's arms. Her eyes opened halfway. "They sent a Reaper," she whispered. John whispered back, "What is that thing?" "A living weapon. From a dead war. It follows heat and bloodline." John's blood froze. "It's tracking me and the boy." Zyra nodded weakly. "It won't stop. Not until he's gone." Suddenly, the ceiling cracked above. A long silver claw burst through the concrete. They ran again. John placed Zyra in the back of a car and shut the door. "Stay down," he said. The boy stood beside him. "I can stop it," the boy said quietly. John looked at him. "You're just a kid." "I'm more than that," the boy replied. "And I'm his son." The ground trembled. The creature's shadow appeared in the garage entrance. Too tall, too thin, too fast. It didn't walk, it glided. Its claws dragged across cars, slicing metal like paper. One swipe, and a parked SUV was ripped in half. The boy stepped forward. His eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Blue light shone from his chest, like a small sun being born. The creature saw it. It screamed a terrible sound that bent the air. Then it charged. John yelled, "No!" But before it could reach them, the boy raised his hand. A wall of energy exploded from his body. The Reaper hit it like a truck hitting glass. It roared and fell back, crashing into parked cars, sending sparks and fire into the air. John ran forward, grabbed the boy, and pulled him back. "We have to go." The Reaper wasn't dead. It was angry, but it had stopped for now. John helped Zyra out of the car. They reached the other end of the garage, where a locked gate blocked their path. Zyra raised her hand weakly. The gate melted like wax. They escaped into a narrow tunnel. Behind them, the Reaper's scream echoed. Later, in a hidden safe house, John sat near the sleeping child. Zyra lay on a medical pad, her breathing steady now. John looked at his burned jacket, torn shoes, shaking hands. "This isn't my world," he said. "But I guess it's my war now." He turned to Zyra. "You said he has powers. You said he needs me." Zyra opened her eyes. "You're more than just his father, John. You're the key, your blood, your past. There's more you don't know." John's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" She whispered just 2 words, before falling asleep again. Project Genesis. The hybrid truth. Sometimes, the answers are not hidden in the stars, but inside you. The dream began with fire. John stood in a burning city. Buildings melted into light. People screamed, but no sound came. In the sky above, 2 moons collided, and from the explosion, a voice whispered, "He was never meant to be just human." John opened his eyes. He was in the safe house, underground, dim lights, metal walls. Zyra was still resting, her body slowly healing. The boy sat in the corner, drawing strange symbols in the dust shapes that moved when no one touched them. John rubbed his eyes. He couldn't tell what was real anymore. Dreams felt like memories. Memories felt like lies. He walked to a small table, where the crystal device still glowed faintly. The one that showed him the past. He picked it up. This time, it activated without touch. A figure appeared in the air. Not Zyra, not the boy. It was himself, but not taller, stronger, dressed in black armor, eyes glowing faintly blue. The vision spoke. "If you're seeing this, then the process has started. You are awakening." John froze. The vision continued. "Your DNA was changed long ago. Not just borrowed, not just touched. You were chosen for something greater." Images flashed in the air. A laboratory deep in space. A dozen people floating in tanks, all different species. Symbols on the walls. A name glowing in red. Project Genesis. The voice returned. "Humanity was never alone. You were our last hope for balance. You are not just the father of the hybrid. You are the first of your kind." The light vanished. John dropped the device. He backed away, breathing hard. "I'm not just human," he whispered. Zyra's voice came from the shadows. "No, you never were." She stood now, weak but steady, her eyes glowing again. John stared at her. Why, didn't you tell me before? You wouldn't have believed it, she said softly. But now your body remembers. Your mind is catching up. She walked to the boy and touched his hair. He's not just a child. He's a symbol, a bridge, a peace treaty in flesh. But if the wrong ones take him, they'll turn him into a weapon. John sat down. His hands were shaking again. You used my DNA without asking me, he said. You made a child, and changed me. Zyra looked at him with sadness. You were dying when I found you, she said. In the war you don't remember. Your heart had stopped. I saved you, and rebuilt you. But I never thought you'd become more. John looked at the boy. He was still drawing. Now, the symbols glowed brighter. They floated up, spinning slowly. What's happening to him? John asked. He's awakening too, Zyra replied. Soon, he'll become what no other being has ever been. But his mind is still young. If he's pushed too far, John stood up. Then we protect him. No matter what. Zyra smiled faintly. You're starting to remember. Suddenly, a deep humming began. The walls of the safe house shook. Zyra's face turned pale. They've found us again. John looked at her. I thought this place was hidden. It is, she said. Unless someone led them here. They both turned to the boy. But the boy was still focused. Still silent. A new voice echoed through the safe house. Cold and mechanical. John Miller. Step outside. Alone. Or we burn the entire city. John clenched his fists. Zyra whispered. They don't want him now. They want you. Outside, a strange ship hovered. Dark, sharp, and alive. Its sides opened, revealing figures cloaked in shadow. Not human. Not alien. Something in between. John stepped toward the door. Zyra grabbed his arm. You're not ready. John looked at her. No, I'm becoming ready. He opened the door. The betrayal. Not every enemy hides in the dark. Some stand beside you, smiling. The air outside was heavy, not with smoke, but with silence. John stood at the doorway of the safe house, face cold, heart burning. Above him, the dark ship hovered like a shadow that had come alive. Its metal skin moved like muscle, alive and watching. On the ground stood 3 figures in black armor. Their faces were covered, their voices synthetic. One of them stepped forward. John Miller, come with us, peacefully. John didn't answer. He remembered the words Zyra once said. Some of them were once like us, but they chose something else. The voice spoke again. We don't want the child. Not yet. We want the source. The beginning, you behind him, Zyra whispered. They're lying. But John stepped forward. He raised his hands. I'll go. Just don't harm anyone here. Zyra grabbed his arm. Don't trust them. John looked into her eyes. I don't, but I need answers. He turned to the boy. No matter what happens, don't follow me. The boy nodded. But his eyes, glowing blue, were full of fear. John walked slowly toward the armored figures. The ship lowered a ramp of light. He stepped inside. The doors closed. The world outside vanished. Inside the ship, it was cold. To clean, the walls breathed like lungs. John was led down a silver hallway. Lights blinked softly on the floor, guiding his path. Suddenly, a voice filled the space, deep and familiar. You've grown well, John. He turned. A tall figure stepped out from the shadows. No helmet, no armor. John froze. It was Zyra, but not his Zyra. Her face was sharper. Her eyes were colder. Her smile forced. What is this? He asked. I am the original, she said. The one who approved your creation. The one who started Project Genesis. John backed away. You're not the woman who saved me. No, she replied. I'm the one who made her. She was a tool, a copy. Her mission was to prepare you. My mission is to finish it. The walls shimmered, revealing rows of pods, people, alien and human, floating inside. Some alive, some not. You're part of something greater, the original Zyra said. You were supposed to lead our new race. But the other Zyra, she fell in love with you. She betrayed the mission. John's fists clenched. She's not the traitor, he said. You are. The original Zyra raised a hand. The armored guard stepped forward. Your DNA carries something rare, something ancient. We need it to complete the final phase. John laughed bitterly. You don't need me. You need control. The guards moved closer, but suddenly, the ship shook. Red lights flashed. A breach. An alarm sounded. A voice shouted. Unauthorized lifeform detected. Deck 5. John's eyes widened. The boy back at the safe house. Zyra paced the room. Something felt wrong. Then she saw it. The boy was gone. He had drawn a door into the wall, glowing with symbols, and stepped through it. She shouted, but he was already gone. Back on the ship, the lights exploded. The boy appeared at the end of the hall, floating. His eyes were not blue anymore. They were white, glowing like stars. The walls of the ship bent as he walked. The original Zyra stepped back. He shouldn't be able to do this. John smiled. He's not just your creation anymore. He's mine too. The boy raised his hand. The guards were pulled into the walls by invisible force. The original Zyra screamed, he's unstable. He'll destroy everything. The boy looked at her calmly. No, I will fix what you broke. And with a wave of light, she was gone. Erased. Later, the ship landed outside the safe house. John stepped out, holding the boy's hand. Zyra ran to them. What happened? She asked. John didn't answer. He just looked up at the stars. They weren't the only ones watching, he said. There's something bigger out there. The boy looked up to Dot, and in the sky, a second moon appeared. One that didn't belong. Awakening sometimes, the most dangerous power, is the one growing inside you. The stars were wrong. John could feel it. Not just see it. Feel it. The sky no longer moved like it used to. Time itself felt slower. Heavy, like the universe was holding its breath. The new moon, the one that wasn't there before, still hung above Earth, pale. Watching Dot, John stood on the edge of a broken rooftop, staring at it beside him. The boy sat cross-legged, silent, eyes glowing white. The wind didn't touch him. Dust didn't settle on him. It was like the world refused to touch him. Behind them, Zyra adjusted her damaged armor. Still weak but alert. Her voice was quiet. He's not sleeping. He's evolving. John didn't speak. He COULDN. Single quotes. Because deep down, something inside him was changing too. Flashback. But not a memory. John stood in endless white space. No ground, no sky. He wasn't dreaming. A voice echoed. You were never chosen by accident. He turned. The boy stood there, older, taller, but still the same eyes. You think you're protecting me, the boy said. But soon, you'll need me to protect you. John reached for him. The boy faded like smoke. Back to reality. John gasped and fell to his knees. The boy opened his eyes, and something was different. Not just his powers, his face, his voice, his presence. Dad, he said softly, I can hear them. John looked up. Hear who? The boy looked at the sky. They're not coming. They're already here. Suddenly, the ground shook. But it wasn't an earthquake. It was something beneath. Zyra pulled her weapon. We need to leave. Now. John helped the boy stand. But the boy didn't move. No, he said. They're not after us anymore. He looked at John, and for the first time, there was fear in his voice. They're after you. Elsewhere. Deep underground. Ancient machines awakened. For centuries, they had slept beneath Earth's crust, placed there long before humans walked the land. They were watchers, guardians, judges. Now, their programming had changed. One word repeated through the system. Terminate, Genesis source. Back to John. They ran through ruined streets, past frozen cars, skies flickering with glitching stars. The boy whispered, they've marked you. The power inside you. It's growing too fast. Zyra stopped. Her voice cracked. John, you need to know the truth. John turned. What truth? Zyra looked down. You're not just a hybrid. You're a failsafe. John's world froze. What do you mean? When Project Genesis began, she said, they didn't just create children. They created weapons disguised as fathers. You were meant to lead or destroy. John stepped back. No, that's not me. I'm not a weapon. But his hands, they were glowing. Blue light pulsed through his veins. The boy looked at him, eyes wide. It's starting, he whispered. Sudden explosion. A beam of red light tore through the sky and hit the ground nearby. The street cracked. Open. From below came metal creatures. Six-legged. Sharp. Silent. They surrounded John. Zyra fired. But it was useless. The boy raised his hands to fight, but one of the creatures shot him with a blast of anti-energy. The boy screamed and collapsed. John roared. Something inside him broke. And then, everything around him stopped moving. Literally. Time froze. Birds stopped mid-flight. Dust hung in the air like stars. Even sound died. John stood alone, glowing now like a small sun. A voice echoed from within him. Power confirmed. Activation complete. John screamed, not in pain, but in fear. Because he now understood. The boy was not the only one awakening. Later, Zyra carried the unconscious boy, as John walked ahead, silent, glowing, breathing like a storm. He didn't speak. He couldn't. Because the power inside him wasn't just waking up. It was watching him back. And far above, the fake moon began to open like an eye. The last stand, the end didn't come with a bang. It came with a question. Will you become what they made you to be? There was no sky anymore. Just a blinking eye in the heavens. The false moon, now wide open, revealing layers of metal and machinery. And something alive inside. The people of Earth couldn't see it. Not yet. To them, the world still looked normal. But John could see it. He stood alone at the center of a silent field. The sky above him, swirling like a storm caught in reverse. Lightning climbed upward, instead of falling. Birds hovered mid-air without flying. The laws of nature were breaking one rule at a time. Behind him, Zyra lay wounded, trying to wake the boy. His small body still pulsed with faint white light. But he hadn't opened his eyes since the blast. John looked at his own hands. They weren't hands anymore, not fully. Energy flowed beneath his skin like rivers of living light. Every heartbeat echoed like thunder in his ears. He wasn't fully human now, and maybe he never was. Voice inside him. It wasn't his voice, it came from deep within. Final stage. Complete. Genesis protocol. Active. John dropped to his knees, clutching his head. Memories that were never his flooded in. Ships. Wars. Laboratories. Betrayals. Billions of lives lost. And one chance at peace. Zyra crawled toward him. You're not a weapon, she said, blood on her lips. You're the choice. The one who decides what happens next. John looked up, tears in his eyes. I don't know what to do. Suddenly, the boy gasped. He sat up straight, eyes glowing white-hot. The ground around him cracked. Dad, he whispered. They're sending the final form. John turned toward the sky, and from the fake moon, something fell. Not a ship, not a creature. A version of John. Taller, colder, made of metal and memory. A perfect weapon, the one he was meant to become. The other John landed softly in the field. Facing him, it spoke with no mouth. You have failed your purpose. I will finish what you could not. John stood. I'm not you. The weapon replied. You will be. And it attacked. The final battle begins. The earth split beneath their feet, as light and shadow collided. John fought not with fists, but with will, holding back a future written in code. Zyra screamed, remember who you are. The boy stood, weak but glowing. He stepped between them. The weapon raised its hand to strike the boy, but John caught it. With one hand, he looked at his son, then at his enemy. And he made a choice. He didn't fight with power. He let go. A wave of light exploded from his chest, not to destroy, but to rewrite. What happened next? No one could explain. The sky stitched itself shut. The fake moon folded in on itself and vanished. The earth became still, and the weapon was gone. John collapsed. The boy caught him. Dad, he said, you didn't fail. You changed the story. Sometime later, the world moved on. People never knew how close they came to ending. The stars looked normal again. But somewhere far above, the real watchers were silent. Afraid because one human, one man who was never meant to lead, chose to disobey his code. Final scene. The boy stood on a cliff, holding a new crystal. Zyra stood beside him. Below, John helped rebuild what was broken. Human, yes, but never ordinary again. The boy asked, will he be okay? Zyra smiled. He's stronger than they thought. The boy looked at the sky, and in his hand, the crystal pulsed with a message from deep space. One survived.